the media experts, radio hosts, TV hosts, TV analysts, and reporters, and I guess Twitter reporter. I don't know, guys who are retired and stuff like that. Or so what's his name? Doug Gottlieb, Gottlieb or whatever.
I think it's Gottlieb.
Okay, it doesn't matter. All right, it doesn't matter.
This person doesn't deserve our mattering.
Yeah, or he at least doesn't deserve us pronouncing his name correctly.
Right.
Unless, so just make sure he doesn't hack us and steal our credit card information. And that's a dig at him. And I'm gonna post it up on the screen here. But who wants to give a summary about this Doug Gottlieb guy and what the heck did he say? Before I actually post it on the screen here.
Let me pull up the official tweet. I want to get in.
That's why I'm going to post it up too. But for those of you who don't know, Doug Gottlieb was a former college basketball player. Is that right?
Yes.
Maybe.
For Notre Dame.
For Notre Dame, okay. So, and Notre Dame, playing basketball at Notre Dame is basically like playing football in North Carolina. Okay?
Well, I don't know. North Carolina's good now.
They'll be good for like a couple seasons, and they'll be back to being trash. So, it's like playing football at Duke. Okay, either way, or playing football at Kentucky. Either way, you're playing Notre Dame basketball. You're not really up there with whatever, especially when he was playing. So, I post up Twitter here while we'll get at it, and. What was it? What was it? The exact tweet that he said? It was about rehabbing. It was something about millennials too, right?
He said it's like the easy way out. Francis, Andrew should have it though.
Yep, I just pulled it up. Retiring cause rehabbing is quote too hard is the most millennial thing ever. Hashtag Andrew Luck.
Oh gosh, so. There's a lot to nitpick here with this comment.
Is there though?
Well, maybe not a lot, but there's a lot that we could say about it. That's for sure. So he's.
How did it become a millennial thing? That's the first thought process I came to.
Well, here's something interesting. Well,
and for those of you who are listening in or will listen in the future or whatever, all of us on the show are in the demographic that are considered millennials. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we are all within that generation.
For clarification, because no one seems to get this right, the students that are in college and high school and below right now are not millennials. Let me make that extremely clear. Millennials are kids from roughly the mid-1980s, and again, since generations are not so cut and dry, especially the newer ones. But it's roughly people from the mid-1980s to the mid to late 1990s, even the early 2000s, maybe. Well, it's really, you know what? No, it's basically mid-80s to mid-90s. So right now, millennials are well out of college, and they're into careers.
Right.
Gen Z, or whatever you want to call it, that is what everyone thinks are millennials. Andrew Luck is about as far as you can get from being Gen Z as possible.
Right. Yeah, Andrew Luck's like around my age, or he's actually probably I think younger than me, but a couple years. Okay, so that's millennials and all that stuff. So there's a rap on millennials that were lazy or that were entitled or what have you, but it's not about being a millennial. This guy, first off, I don't think I'm lazy. I don't think Andrew's lazy. I don't think Charles is lazy.
Oh, I'm lazy.
But when you
could consider me to be lazy.
Okay,
lazy is an individual character trait.
But it depends. But when the stuff that matters, you're not at your job, right? So
no comment.
And definitely. But anyways, it's a stigma that we have. But whatever, we know how to use our technology. We just know how to do things more efficiently. Let's just say that. All right. So now we have more time to do stuff, do stuff that interests us, like play Pokemon and play Doom and watch a ton of college football like Andrew does. Like it's just an awful thing that he said, and thank God bless Twitter sometimes, because yes, it can be awful at points, but it can also be a thing of beauty, because people got on this guy immediately. First off, people found out who Doug Gottlieb is, because I didn't know who he was. I'm pretty sure people who did know who he was probably thought he died or moved to Winnipeg between these years. So they're like, oh,
choice of Winnipeg of all Canadian.
It's actually a joke from a Canadian show called Corner Gas that I love. So it's part of a dig at Winnipeg, because I hate the Winnipeg Jets. But regardless,
Winnipeg does not deserve
Doug Gottlieb. No, not even that bad. Even though they don't have enough parks, as Ilya Bryzgalov once said. Okay, moving on. So people started like tweeting back at this guy, and like he starts trying to defend himself. I like Andrew Luck a lot. I've defended him and his success to others, but what does it say about Alex Smith trying to come back from a leg injury when he nearly lost a limb? Different mentality. And then people kept going on. Alex Smith has nothing to do with Andrew Luck, which is true. That is a completely different situation. And then people started getting on him about his credit card stealing. He thought work was too hard, so he stole teammates' credit cards instead. What's the story about his credit card thing in college? What was it exactly, if anybody here knows?
So what happened was he got into a scandal in Notre Dame because he stole his boy's credit card. It was having some issues as like a national thing. I think Notre Dame was keeping on the hush-hush.
Yeah. So
let's have fun with that for a second. What do we know about legality in the courtroom, you guys? Credibility is always relevant, even if it happened a long time ago. So Gottlieb was, under trial. You can impeach that for being a faker, whereas you can't impeach Andrew Luck except for anything except for having an exceptional neckbeard. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Oh gosh, that's.
Let me add this about Andrew Luck.
Go ahead.
He is such a nice guy.
Right.
He
can date my daughter in the future. There you go.
Yeah.
There was a video that the NFL posted, not like a random compilation video site or whatever. It was the NFL posted. He would always talk. I'll send the link to you, Francisco, so you can post it, or I'll just post it on the Discord. But he's always, even though he's getting absolutely hammered by these guys crashing into him for sacks or hits or whatever, he's always like, "Good hit, buddy," or "How you doing?"
Oh, I saw that. I saw that video. I think you sent it to me,
Who does that?
Right.
Andrew Luck does, because he can date my daughter, and only the good kind of men can date my daughter.
Exactly.
If I had one.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just looking at these people. They're just absolutely destroying Doug Gottlieb. He blocked the guy who said stealing your roommate's credit card is more Gen X, which is, I think, Gottlieb's generation, maybe. And then
let me clarify to everybody: Gen X is the generation before the millennials. Mm-hmm. That's the one that came between the baby boomers and the millennials. So you're talking 70s and early 80s.
And we're not jumping on these people because they're Gen X or whatever, but we're defending ourselves as the millennial generation, because we just have to at this point. And one day we're going to take over the world, and we'll start talking about these Gen Zers who are privileged and entitled afterwards, or Gen 1A or whatever they're going to call it afterwards. And just people getting on him about his entering a game with his shorts on backwards. And I love this excerpt, and it's from Wikipedia. once entered a game with his shorts on backwards. He then took his shorts off on the court and put them back on correctly. He was guarded from cameras and taunting fans by a circle that his teammates formed around their embarrassed teammate. When Gottlieb became a broadcaster after his playing days ended, this incident was mentioned in a press conference by North Carolina head coach Roy Williams, who obviously has a ton of clout. After being questioned about criticism of his program by Gottlieb, Williams responded that Gottlieb couldn't even put his pants on the right way. Williams then said, shorts on backwards, imitating the chant that opposing fans said to Gottlieb after the incident. So Roy Williams dunked on him at a press conference, okay? Just a guy who just made a complete fool of himself from this comment. And I'm going to go back here. I think Troy Aikman had some great things to say as well about this. He destroyed Gottlieb. And Bo Jackson here, who stood by Troy Aikman as well. So, and don't criticize a man until you've worn his cleats. If you've never strapped on the pads, you have no business commenting on something you know nothing about. And yeah, it's not just football players though. It's other players from other leagues. I think Paul George also made a comment to somebody, and Paul George also another guy who came back from a horrific injury. Okay, and yes, he decided to come back and not retire, but he gets it. He gets the pain and the misery coming back from that. I broke my leg playing baseball when I was 16 years old. I don't want to go through that rehab ever again. Okay? And I was just 16 years old playing in rec league. All right? So and maybe I have that perspective. Maybe because I suffered through a sports injury once. And I was, I was out for 3 months. I'm like, man, if I went through a freaking lacerated spleen or whatever the heck, his kidneys, freaking destroyed ribs, torn ACLs, all that stuff, I'm not going through that. I already broke my leg once. I still have a metal plate in my leg. I ain't doing that again. I have to answer that at airports all the time. So, yeah. I don't know. Anybody else wants to jump in here before? And once again, I think Charles, what did you say we're going to do with Gottlieb now? From now on, we're going to honor him or dishonor him?
We're going to fit his backwards pants and backwards underwear, because, obviously crap comes from everywhere out of him. We're, for the viewers and listeners, we're going to have something called either Gottlieb's Goons, because Gottlieb and his gobbledygook has just been so... He might call it inflammatory because it's an honest opinion. I can't get... I think my eyesight worsened when I saw that tweet. And I didn't even dare listen to it because I didn't want my ears to bleed. Hell, I'm going to just rub some dirt in there, even some more. I think a blind person probably has a better jump shot than Gottlieb did in his day.
Oh,
we're going to basically aim to seek out these... I got to be PC about this stuff. Seek out these.
Yeah, don't be Pete Davidson. Don't be Pete Davidson.
Yeah, these falsely these impassionate opinions that really aren't that impassionate or good opinions. They're just salacious to be salacious because no one will listen to them in the first place. Of guys who think they know the game, but they don't know the game. They barely know the game that they actually played, giving comments on them. And you can tell what sports broadcaster probably come from. Fox Sports 1. So what happens is we're going to read something that is kind of just salacious and silly and just used to be a troll. And here's the thing. I understand the mindset of trolling shows that we have a strong backbone and that those who don't like to be trolled are soft. But if you're trolling just to get your name out there, you're an effing clown, son.
Right.
Let me tell you about something that happens to clowns. They draw smiley faces, but they're really sad on the inside. So if we had all looked to see who Doug Gottlieb was, and then we found out that really you're just a criminal, you might be 20 years later not a criminal, and you got FS1, I got to really wonder, you couldn't hire a better basketball player than this guy? There's plenty of guys who don't make it into the pros that I'd rather hear from. Hell, you can get Royce White, who's battling like anxiety and depression, but he could be your black guy, Fox Sports 1, because you want to show that you're a mom and go ahead and have fun with. Doug Gottlieb? Get the hell out of here. So with Gottlieb Goons, whenever we see something silly, and something tells me Doug will not be. It's his namesake, so you better earn it. He's basically All Might, you guys. If he wants to be the #1 broadcaster of idiocy, he's gonna earn that mantle. He's gonna be there often. We might see some Skip Bayless every now and then. We're definitely gonna see Colin Cowherd because he's calling Cow beep. I typically hate him, though he did say something correct on Baker Mayfield. That was a burn, and I loved it. But, you know, I am petty, too. And so we've got the goons. You're going to see the salacious, petty trolls that come in to actually think they know the game. But chances are, when they actually did try to play the sport that they're talking about, they were picked last, or they were picked out of pity, or they had to get the school teacher to play with them, or maybe their mom called. So you talk about soft. Dude, you're as soft as the underwear that you were wearing on that.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, brother.